Hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Mid-Table Tactics is doing a tournament, single elimination bracket style tournament this weekend, and we want to just bring small video together discussing the lists and the matchups that were randomly drawn. So let me just bring that up here, and we will get right into it. All right. So this is the player review and list review. So Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m., we have Dan and his leagues of Votan versus Chris Powell and his Demons. Then later that day, on Saturday at 3 p.m., we have Big Pat's Chaos Knights against his Miles Eldari. Sunday morning at 10 a.m., we have Gary and his Black Templars facing off against Liam and his Necrons. And we have Sunday at 3 p.m., Daniel's Grey Knights versus Shane's CSM. Now, my personal hit on these brackets is a lot of these are going to be tough matchups for some of these players. Demons are going to be in tough against Votan. Liam and Gary, I'm not sure how that one's exactly going to fold out, just because, Black Templars can put out a lot of volume, but, Necrons don't want to die. The Chaos Knights versus Eldar is going to be a very tough matchup for Big Pat. And Grey Knights into CSM is also going to be tough. CSM can put out a tremendous amount of damage, and with their shooting, with their dark packs, the Grey Knights have the ability to just pick up and move and be mobile, and I think that's going to be key to that game. So let's jump into the list and see what's going on here. So the first game, Chris's Demons versus Dan's Votan. Chris is running his Demonic Incursion, 2,000 points. He's 1995. He's got Demon Prince of Chaos with Nurgle. And then he's got two more Demon Princes with wings. One's with Khorne, the other one's with Slaanesh. Both of them all three of them have enhancements. Then they got the heavy hitter, Salaxi Hellbane. She can just erase whatever she wants to. She rerolls, I think, hits and wounds into characters and monsters and vehicles. She's a beast. She just needs to get there. And she moves pretty quick. And she can also take a bit of damage back. She's no wonder she's 450 points. Then we have the Changeling, a nice little character that can just sit on objectives and cannot be targeted, lone op. And I think even when you go to shoot her, she has some abilities to negate that. I think you have to roll a 6 or something. Then you've got the battle line units, Nurglings. They're just there as a distraction. They're action monkeys. They can score different secondaries for you. Then the couple of tough units to remove: Beast of Nurgle, 3 units of those. Fiends, again, just to round out the army and have some mobility. With all of these lists are going to be in the description, so if you want to look at weapons and stuff, I've sort of stripped that out of these just so we could keep this on the page and have something to talk about without going too much detail. Then we go up against Dan's Votan. This list puts out so much volume. Votan, I think, is one of the best armies since the data slate. They have their original game mechanic was they were allowed to pick, I think, 1 or 2 units and give them judgment tokens. And not only judgment, but double judgment tokens. So they're +1 to hit, +1 to wound. Now they can do it to 4 units. So as a Custodes player, that's brutal. I mean, they pick the toughest units in my army or whatever they want, the tanks or anything or whatever they want, and they pick those 4 things. So again, going into the Demons, Salaxi Hellbane is going to be one, the Demon Princes are going to be the other, and it's just chip damage. There's a lot of shooting, especially with the Hearthguard. And Dan is running 3 units of Hearthguard. He's got the Thunderkin, which those guys are especially deadly against vehicles. That's not going to be so much of a challenge with the Demons. But then he's got 3 units of Pioneers. They're great for just zipping across the battlefield. They scout. They can come off the board, come back on the board. Now, one of the other things with Votan that you have to also remember is they have a lot of ways to ignore cover, ignore other modifiers. So, even though they're AP1 on a lot of their stuff, ignoring cover, right? It's almost AP2. So the characters are also can hit hard in this, and I believe that Carl can also just give out judgment tokens. I know that there's a way to do that. So he's got his units protected. He's got them in Sagittars or coming in from reserve and also in the Land Fortress. Land Fortress isn't as big of a deal this edition. I mean, it used to be unkillable in ninth sometimes. I know I've spent an entire army trying to kill it on first turn, and it was the only way because that thing just would pick up my army in return, but it was really hard to kill. But in 10th, not as durable. But it's also not putting out the same amount of damage, so that's also a good thing. So I'm going to go with a prediction here. I think Dan's Votan's going to have this battle just from the volume and being able to have that +1 then +1 to hit and wound on those big monsters. Oh, they're just going to have a tough time unless they can get into combat. So moving on, our game 2, Big Pat versus Miles. This is going to be a tough one for Big Pat. Miles' list is no joke. So Big Pat's going with 2 big Chaos Knights. This is not the 14 War Dog variant. So he's got 2 big ones: Knight Desecrator, Knight Despoiler. And then he's got 3 Brigands, 2 Executioners, 2 Carnivores. So this has got some interesting play because I believe one of the big knights or even one of the small knights using their stratagems can go right through building. And we are playing on GW terrain, so it is dense. So, but I think it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle for the knights list here, just going into Eldari. So going into Miles' list, a little bit hard to read. There's just a lot in this list. He's got the Farseer, Spirit Seer. He's got some Guardians, Warp Spiders. He's got the Wraith Guard, which are very hard to remove, as well as very killy. Then on top of that, he's got a Hornet, he's got the Night Spinner, and he's got Warwalkers. So there's a lot of bright lances in this list. And, anything Eldar with lance in the name is going to mess up vehicles. And so this is going to be, I think, a little bit of a tough battle for Big Pat. I'm rooting for Big Pat, but I think Miles is going to take this one. But we'll see. Game 3, we've got Gary versus Liam, Black Templars versus Necrons. Again, I have not actually seen this play out in 10th yet. So, I mean, here's Gary's list, Black Templars. He's bringing his 9th list sort of into 10th here. So, he's rocking Helbrick. He's got Lieutenant. And he's got 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts, so some shooting there. Then here come the Centurions. He's got an assault squad, 2 assault squads. Then he's got some infiltrators, some Sword Brethren, 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, 2 Whirlwinds, and a Caladius Assassin. So this is going to be an interesting list just to see what it's going to do to the Necrons. Liam's list, he's got Orcan, so he's going to be giving up, I believe, a unit, a 4-up invuln. He's got 2 Hexmark Destroyers. He's got a Lord, an Overlord, Technomancer, and a Satan. Now, that Satan is no joke. It can do mean things. The Warrior Blob is there, the Crypto Thralls, the Lich Guard, which I know are a staple of Liam's. He sometimes runs 2 units of them. They're also very hard to get rid of. And then you've got the Destroyers, Tomb Blades. Tomb Blades are just going to be zipping around the battlefield doing actions, jumping on objectives. The big thing here is he's got the Reanimator to help him reanimate those Warrior Blobs, or that Warrior Blob, as well as 2 Doomsday Arcs. Now, I know Liam used to run 3 of these. They're tricky to get into combat with. They put out a ton of damage. This will be really interesting to see, just because, I think there's going to be Gary's a really good player, and I think Gary's going to find ways to get into combat with this into this Liam's Necron list, and we're just going to see where it works out. I don't know if I really have a prediction on this one. I think Liam still takes it just because Necrons and 10th just don't die. They resurrect, and they come back like a vengeance. So I think I have to go Liam here, but again, this is I think going to be a really tough battle. Our game 4, we have Daniel versus Shane. So this is Grey Knights versus CSM. I have played this Grey Knights list or a very similar variant to it last couple of weeks with Daniel on the channel. I was playing it with my custodes. Man, it's crazy when all that silver teleports onto one side of the board. He can really overwhelm a flank. What has he got here in here? He's got he's got Captain Stern. He's got 3 librarians. The big one, this one, is he's got Caldor Drago. And then he's also got a Grandmaster. But the 3 librarians are huge. They have an ability just to delete units, with their mortal wound output. I have been on the receiving end of him rolling 6s on those librarian special powers, and that's 2d6 mortal wounds into something, and it's pretty crazy. Battle line, he's got just a Terminator squad, 5. He's got another Terminator squad of 5. Another Terminator squad. He's got 4 Terminator squads. Oof. So he's dropped the Paladins. So that was the list that I played. He had 10 Paladins. But this is just a lot of Terminators. He does have the Paladins. Just 2 5-man squads. When he was playing me, he had a 10-man. That blob hit hard. And so this will be really interesting to see. Plus, he's got a Vindicare Assassin. That's just to keep people honest. Don't stick your characters out where they can be picked off. I think this is a good list. I think there's a lot of mobility in this list. Again, Grey Knights pick up 3 units at the end of their turn. Deep Strike next turn. This will be interesting. The only thing I wish I could see in this list, and it wouldn't allow him to run as many Terminators, is a unit of strikes, and the reason why is just because they allow you to sticky objectives, but this is also a very, very fast and mobile list. So the Vindicare Assassin sitting on your home objective, just looking to pick people off is pretty nasty. So, and him being a lone operative, again, how are you going to hit him? So that's going into Shane's CSM. Shane is a very good CSM player. What has he got in here? He's got Chaos Lord, Terminator Armor, Mark of Nurgle, Dark Commune. He's also got another Chaos Lord with Undivided. He's got the Cultist Blob, 10 guys. He's got the Rhino with Nurgle, a Cursed Cultist, Undivided, and then he's also got a block of 10 Terminators, some Chosen, and Forge Fiend, which is Nurgle. Obliterators, 2 units of Obliterators. Those guys, man, they hit hard, and they are Undivided. So what that means is when he Dark Packs them, he can give them rerolls, a lot of rerolls when you're Undivided. I believe you get to reroll all your hits, and I think it might be with. I'm not 100% sure. I know Undivided, or when you use the reroll strat, you get once a reroll if you're not Undivided, but I think when you're Undivided, you get all of it. I could double check. Venom Crawler, again, Nurgle. So if he doesn't want these things to be shot, it's a strat to just make them not targetable outside of 12. Now he's also got some Warp Talons, so he's got some speed, pressure the backfield. There's Slanesh, so they can advance and charge, I believe, I think for a strat. And then he's got some Nurglings. The Nurglings there, again, action monkeys. I think with CSM and their Dark Packs, they're very easy to get. You just have a roll of 6 or higher. And you know what? For the benefits of trading that for some mortal wounds is huge. I've seen CSM play and never fail a Dark Pack, and I've seen them play and never make a Dark Pack and obliterate themselves, but it's usually the other way around. They're always making them. So I know Shane does not have an Abaddon to put in here. That would have, I think, just helped his Undivided a little bit, giving those reroll auras and stuff like that. But again, he's got, Nurgle on the things he wants to protect, and I think he can. Even though the Grey Knights are mobile, this list is got a lot of shooting potential, like a lot of shooting. So I mean, when those Grey Knights are on the board, he's really, the Grey Knights really depend on that 2-up armor save, just like Custodes. So this will be really interesting. So thanks, guys. If you get a chance, join our channel, check out our Discord. I'll put all the links in the description. Join us as a membership. It really just helps us create more content, allows us to go to tournaments. We actually throw some tournaments. We have our own tournament coming up in November, which is sold out, but we're looking to throw more events in the Vancouver region. But anything you guys can do to help support channel would be awesome. And what we'll do is, after these games are played, we're going to do a follow-up video next week and go over them in a little bit more in depth and just sort of see what panned out. And would just love for you guys to watch and enjoy the Warhammer. All right, guys, have a great day.